The tricky question, of course, is how to get people with mental illness the help that they need if, in their mental illness, they're convinced they don't need help. It's tricky because you're talking about the most precious thing any of us has, control over our own bodies. It's a carefully protected right, but right now, it's so protected, it often seems impossible to do anything for those folks, and so they continue to live on our streets. Our Evan Watson has shown us how many in the mental health field now believe the bar has been raised a bit too high, that it should be easier to force people to accept help. And the hopeful part of all this, the justice system is beginning to come around in Oregon. Here's Evan Watson with the details on Oregon's new Civil Commitment Work Group.
Terry Archuleta's sister Deanna died this fall. She lived with bipolar disorder. Archuleta says her sister's mental health had deteriorated in combination with addiction. She wouldn't agree to treatment or stay on her medication.
She was found in her tent in a camp by herself. And that's the hardest part because you always think you're going to have, you always think you're going to have another chance or more time. And I wish I would have had somewhere to just take her. Because I think on that last day that she was here, if I'd had a place to take her to get sober and be on her meds again, I do believe she would be alive right now.
Archuleta shared these photos of her sister, who was 61 when she died. She prefers to remember her from when they were younger. She wishes her sister had been mandated treatment and supervised medical care.
To really get someone to where they felt strong enough. I mean, and I don't know if it wouldn't solve everyone's problem. I know that. But I know it would have helped my sister to have lived longer.
Archuleta isn't alone. There's a growing public awareness that something needs to change. Now, state leaders around Oregon, from lawmakers to judges to doctors and mental health experts, are taking an in-depth look at civil commitment. The group plans to meet each month for the next 2 years to research, discuss, and craft changes to the Oregon standards for civil commitment and forced mental health care. Multnomah County Judge Nan Waller is part of the group, which was organized by the Oregon Judicial Department. She says the group is reevaluating the entire statute to create systemic change.
I think because we are seeing so many people who are struggling, we see that on the streets, it's covered by the press a lot. People have a lot of personal experience with it. It seemed like the right time for the judicial branch to step up and say, we will try to convene a group that hopefully can come up with some agreements and some better ways of doing this.
Waller says she hopes Oregon builds a system where people have access to better treatment and receive treatment precisely when they need it. The plan is to take 2 years to develop a report that could change Oregon's commitment standards. When asked why not sooner, Waller said this topic and finding consensus is complicated, especially when considering civil commitment.
These are complicated subjects where people have strong positions. And in order to come to consensus on any change, I think that it is going to take time and full examination. Trying to do a little bit of change along the way. We want to take a look at the whole system because our concern is that small changes are not going to end up with the results that the community and individuals who have serious mental illness need.
This focus on civil commitment has gained steam in recent months, illustrating a change in perspective. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler recently told business owners he would support a hard look at the legislative level of our involuntary commitment laws, saying people need help and compassion, especially when they're homeless after refusing recommended treatment. Currently, the work group is reviewing civil commitment standards in other states to see if they would adopt something that works better.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts about this story and the civil commitment process. The woman we featured, by the way, at the beginning of that story actually wrote to us after one of our last Uncommitted segments, and that's how she connected with Evan Watson to share her story about her sister. Thanks for doing that, Terry. Let us know your thoughts. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail 503-226-5090.